Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica and this is our little farm. Today I'm going to be making my first ever YouTube video, so please bear with me. If I make mistakes and blunders, please give me a little grace. We are going to be making yogurt in the Crockpot today. And before I do though, I am going to be taking you around and letting you meet some of the cows today. And in later videos, I'll introduce you to more of the animals. On our little farm, we have pigs, goats, cows of course, chickens, cats, dogs, and then me and my husband have 6 beautiful children from the ages of 14 all the way down to 2 months. So occasionally I will have to stop and go feed little George. A little bit about the yogurt making in the Crockpot. The traditional method, which I have done for many years, requires you to use the stovetop, and you have to pasteurize your milk, and then what you do is you place it in a yogurt maker overnight. In the Crockpot, all you need is a Crockpot with a tight fitting lid, so there's no gaps. It has to have no gaps, otherwise it releases the steam and doesn't allow the milk to heat up enough. And you use the percentage of 1 quart of milk per half a cup of yogurt starter. Now the yogurt starter, you can just use store-bought yogurt, but I usually use the plain, but on it has to say active live cultures on the back of the yogurt when you're buying it. What's also helpful to have is a thermometer, because before you add the yogurt to the milk, you will need to take the temperature of the yogurt. She is a Jersey cow. We roughly have, and this other one behind me here, you can see all the girls are trying to eat me now. We have 14 cows that currently we're only milking about 9. The other ones are dry. They'll start milking again when they calve. I'm getting ate up by the cows here. And what we don't sell our milk currently. What we do is we feed little baby calves, mostly steers, out, and we sell them. That's how we make a little income on our little farm. Now let's go inside and make that yogurt. Alright guys, let's begin. As you can see, my Crockpot, I got my big Crockpot out here. The lid is snug, and all I'm going to do is pour a gallon of milk. And your milk, you can use any type of milk, whole milk, 2%, 1%, skim, pasteurized raw cow's milk, which is what this is, and it's just 1 gallon. And you can do any size. For every 1 quart, you use 1/4 of a cup of yogurt starter. There we go. And then all we're going to do is put this on low with the lid on tight for 2.5 hours. And we'll be back in 2.5 hours and I'll tell you the next step. Alright guys, it's been 2.5 hours. And so all you're going to do is switch your Crockpot off and unplug it. And then you're going to let it sit. Don't open the lid. Let it sit for 3 hours. Is all you're going to do. Alright. I am going to, it's been the 3 hours, and I'm just going to take off my lid here. Give it a stir here. Remember, this is just your plain milk yet. And I'm going to check the temperature before I add my culture. you don't want your temperature to be above 120, because if it is, it could kill your yogurt culture, which we do not want. And it's about 110, so I'm going to go ahead and add my yogurt culture. And all I did was at Aldi's, they have some whole milk Greek yogurt. And on the back, if you look, you can see this. Let's see. There we go. It says it contains live and active cultures. That is what you are looking for. And this 32 ounces has about 3 cups in it, so it will make 3 gallons of yogurt for you. And then what you can do is you can take your yogurt from each batch and you can use it as a starter for the next batch, but that will not be as thick. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to add my 1 cup, since I have 1 gallon, because there are 4 quarts in a gallon, to my yogurt. And I'm going to mix it around until smooth. Now I'm just mixing, and I did take the yogurt out around the 245 mark to let it come up to temperature, so it does not lower the temperature of your milk too much, because then it will not thicken. And then I'm going to let this sit overnight covered. And then in the morning I will jar it up. Like, all my clumps are pretty much done. Okay. So all I'm going to do here, oops. There we go. Just put my lid back on, make sure it's tight fitting. And then I'm going to take a towel and just cover the crock pot up overnight. Just like that. And it'll keep the heat in it, and it'll just be like using a yogurt maker. It'll insulate it overnight. Alright, and it's the next morning, and here is the yogurt. And that, from 1 gallon, I got 1, 2, 3, almost 4 quarts of yogurt. Now, this is plain yogurt and there's no flavoring to it, but if you want to make it into vanilla yogurt, all you need to do is, per 1 cup of this yogurt, start with 1 tablespoon of vanilla and 3 tablespoons of sugar. And you can add, I have added half a bag, so about 5 ounces of, these are frozen, and what I do is I partially thaw them, not completely, just partially, and then I take them and I blend them up, and then I mix them into, I actually made a whole quart with just this 5 ounces of strawberry yogurt, and then I still added my sugar and vanilla, and then I let it sit in the refrigerator, and then I came back in a couple hours, and after the strawberries have completely thawed inside the yogurt, then I added more sugar and vanilla if needed. But I found that after they thawed, I didn't need any more. So that is a way to do it, or you can use any other fruit, frozen fruit, or you can use fresh fruit or canned fruit in light syrup and such. So those are just a couple options that you can use. You can also use your yogurt in place of, I've used it in macaroni and cheese before when I didn't have any milk, and the kids did not know a difference at all. And I find I store it in old canning jars that I can't use for canning anymore because they're so old, but they work well for this yogurt. Alright guys, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed today's video on yogurt making in the crock pot. And do not worry if your yogurt does not make it the first time. Just redo it and figure out what you learned from your mistakes. First time I made it, I had the yogurt too hot when I put my starter in, and I ended up killing my starter, so I had milk when I was done. So I just used that milk, and I made a bunch of waffles and French toast for the kids and put a bunch in the freezer. So no harm done in that case. So just find a way, if it doesn't work, just ends up not setting, just find a way to use up the milk and try again. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to can some green beans. I'm also probably going to show you how to can some cucumbers in another video after that. And since the garden season is about done, I will probably do some baking after that. Got a couple ideas on how to show you guys how to make some homemade bread, some cinnamon rolls in the bread machine. So stay tuned, and if you guys don't want to miss those videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and I will post the recipe and instructions in the description below. And you guys have a good day, and God bless.